Hey everyone, welcome back to the Curiosity Matters podcast. This is our second episode, and in this episode we'll be looking at the financial picture. How the personal relationship with finances can change in time. So get ready to dive deep into a look at personal finances and how that changes, especially when you get involved in a relationship. So stay curious. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be a great discussion. Yeah. A little bit of music to bring it in. This time. R&B groove.
Okay, all right. A little old school for him.
Yeah, a little something, something. A little something, something. Yeah, they kind of faded out a little bit quick on me. I didn't mean for it to go that quick. Welcome, everyone, to the Curiosity Matters podcast. I am your host, Floyd Wesley, also known as the Black Suave. I'm here with Courtney, my lovely partner, my significant other. What's going on, Courtney? How you doing?
I'm good,
You there?
Yeah, I just enjoying that ice cream that we just went to go get.
Yeah, I dig it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't really do the ice cream. Yeah, don't nobody want me to do no ice cream. It'd be a disaster. So.
Yeah. No, we gonna keep that for me and the baby.
Done it. Yeah, y'all enjoy it. More ice cream cravings.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Yeah.
Sorry that you had to miss out.
How was that? I mean, you haven't been getting none of the crazy cravings, I don't feel like.
No, I don't think I'm gonna get crazy cravings like people talking about pickles and ice cream. No, I just want regular good stuff like Cold Stone and brownies and peaches and peach cobbler and banana pudding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that all sounds great. Definitely have more of a diverse palate when it comes to desserts than I do. I pretty much go for chocolate. That's about it. The occasional carrot cake or something.
There's so many things you can do with chocolate. You can do chocolate covered strawberries, chocolate cake, chocolate covered bananas. See, look, you're making me hungry again.
Oh, my bad. Don't mean to do that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty trippy. You're along now 7 months?
Yep, 7 whole months. Just hit the 3rd trimester. Home stretch. Even though everybody keep telling me I don't even look pregnant, so I'm going to take that as a compliment.
You been enjoying it?
Enjoying being pregnant?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to answer that.
Like yes and no?
Like it's cool, but I prefer to be regular than to be pregnant. If like there's a preference, like if babies could be dropped off by storks, that would be awesome. Then I wouldn't have to like deal with all these changes in my body.
So how you feel about the baby? Obviously, we're pregnant for anybody who's just now listening in, and if you didn't know, we are expecting our first little one June 12th. Obviously, there was just recently news. War started in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
You panicking at all? Are you nervous at all about it?
I mean, not really. Because, I mean, just to put it bluntly, no matter what's happening in the world, like, my life has not really changed. I remember when there was the war in Iraq, and, I mean, I was still poor and black in America. It didn't really change much for me over here. So, unless it's going to actually impact what I'm doing, like, and everything over here, there's not really much for me to be afraid of. That is the one area of privilege that I can say that I have, that I'd have the privilege to not be too concerned with that. I'm saddened by all the people that are going through that, but it would be crazy for me to equate my own struggles here with their struggles during the wartime. So I'm not really worried. I'm more just concerned.
Well, for me, it's just a destabilization. I mean, it's just like now they're invading another country. Gas prices, sanctions on the countries. So, I mean, it's just like, for me, it kind of just makes me feel like, man, we right back going on square one again. Right back going on square one again. Scary, I mean, considering we bring a child into the world. But again, I mean, who knows? Maybe it's all just a sham.
I don't know. You never know. Nothing is what it seems. It feels like there are a lot of things going on that could be used as a distraction for what is actually changing. Because...
So what's your conspiracy theory?
I don't know. I didn't see a lot of conspiracy theories online.
What's your favorite one?
My favorite conspiracy
Which one do you
theory?
think is the closest?
Well, my favorite conspiracy theory don't got nothing to do with this.
About the Ukraine. Have you heard any?
Let me see. About Ukraine. Oh, that it's the what I've been hearing lately is that this is to usher in the new world order. That COVID was just step one of the plan to keep everyone in a state of fear.
I dig it. And this is phase 2. Mm-hmm. The Ukraine invasion. I like it. I like it.
So, I mean, I don't even know what to think of that, because I'm like, it's not very hard to make people afraid when they are not well educated on what's going on. It's easy to be afraid if you don't know what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, anytime they start to threaten it, especially these days, when you got a country just invading another country, it's just a little nerve-wracking for me. Because especially when it's not the United States. When the United States invaded, the last time they invaded a country, they had backup. Multiple countries. But even still, you don't ever know who's going to attack.
Yeah.
What do you counterattack?
True. And I don't rock with, like, this country like that to even, like, most of the time when they say they're invading, it is not for the good of that country or for the good of us in this country. It's for the good of somebody that ain't got zero to do with me. So, I don't know. It's like to what you were saying, if I'm worried, the only thing I'm worried about is to what extent will this actually impact the world economy, because we're already seeing it impact the supply chains for food and gas and oil, and how far is this going to go? I mean, I'm just thankful that we're not some of those people that are out here trying to steal gas, because that's the only way that they have to survive. They can't afford it.
Get it in.
Like I saw this post that was talking about he saw this guy trying to steal from his car some gas, and he caught him, and the guy was just like, "Hey, you got me, I'm sorry, but I was gonna do it, but since you caught me, I'm not gonna do it."
The hell no, you're not gonna do it no more, because I'm on your ass. That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, you didn't do me a favor by saying I'm not gonna do it. Get away from my vehicle. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Like, people are very desperate.
Why don't you steal gas from the gas station, man? You didn't steal gas from your neighbors.
Well, there's four guys from Florida that just got arrested because they were putting some program or some software in the gas machines that were making the gas pennies on the gallon instead of like $4 or $5 like it is.
And that's what I'm talking about.
That's what I said. I was like, why they in jail?
You know why I think they in jail? I think that I seen them posting that stuff online.
Oh, well, there you go. You gotta keep stuff on the low. You can't tell everybody about the hookup.
You didn't see none of them posts? People posting them low prices? That they was paying like 90 cents? Yeah. But then they got a whole bunch of gas.
See, that's what messed them up. Everybody, they can't keep the hookup on the low.
Yeah, I don't know if that was them, but I saw somebody posting it online. I think that probably was them.
Well,
posting it online.
If I ever find a gas station where I can get 15 gallons of gas for $2, I ain't telling nobody but you.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, we'll just draw from that well for a while. But you better make sure it's legal. I don't want to be caught up in nothing.
Well, duh, it's not going to be legal. That's why I ain't going to tell nobody. I'm just act like I didn't know it was legal. And you know, play the damsel in distress and be like, oh my God, you mean it was broken? Thought it was just cheap gas.
Right. No. Yeah, it's been a hectic week. It's been a crazy week. Well, not.
It's been a crazy time.
It's been a crazy time, yeah. And it's been a crazy week. How's your week been?
It's been full of change, and my emotions are all over the place. Because the closer we get to this due date, the more I'm like excited because she's going to be here, but then scared because of what I got to do to make her get here.
Yeah, I mean, what is that like?
What is that
like? Dealing like pregnant. I mean, in the third trimester, did you feel it? Could you feel something change when you hit the third trimester?
She won't stop moving. That's what I feel. She be kicking me everywhere, all day, all night.
Is that when you knew? You was like, I'm in the third trimester.
No, I got a notification on my app. That's how I knew.
Oh, you couldn't tell? You didn't feel nothing different? Do you feel different during the stages? Different stages? No? Is it always supposed to say?
The only thing that felt different was the first trimester where I had like morning sickness. And remember, I couldn't eat anything but apples.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that seemed like a long time ago now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You was a fiend for them apples.
Yeah, but that was all I wanted to eat. Everything else, I was like, I don't want it. I don't want to smell it. Don't want to just get it away from me. But them apples, though, bring them here. After that, though, I mean, I felt regular.
So through the times, there hasn't been a particular time where you felt a certain... You've been feeling pretty much essentially normal. Like the same consistently throughout the...
Yeah, it's been pretty consistent. But they say that the second trimester is the easiest or most, I guess, easygoing trimester in pregnancy. And the last trimester is when everyone starts to get most uncomfortable because that's when the baby grows the most. So right now, the baby, remember I showed you on the app, is like as big as a head of a lettuce. But in these last 3 months, it's going to get way, way bigger.
This is what I think, though. In the beginning, it was like you was more moody. Way more moody. And like you said, you was like sick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But still, you were more active. You were more mobile, you know? And then the second trimester, man, look.
I'd be sleepy. I could sleep for 12 hours and wake up and be like, I'm still tired.
Yeah, I mean, but you was like Michael Myers on Austin Powers.
What you mean?
Like, you remember how he is like a nympho?
What?
Yeah. That's okay.
That's not my fault.
I've been seeing the changes. Like, that's why I'm like, I don't know.
It's just the hormonal changes.
And then so now it's more like definitely moody again.
Definitely moody again.
But it's kind of in a different way, you know what I'm saying? It's more like, I don't know, like, not as much as, it doesn't seem like, before it was more like aggression, I feel like, but now it seems like more like
Like, I'd be sad.
Sad, yeah, depressed.
Yeah. I told you. So I told you before we got in here. I was like, I don't know what to do with all these feelings. I've never had so many feelings in all my life.
Yeah, that's a trip. But I mean, you've been making it through. You've been handling it very well.
Thank you, babe.
Yeah.
It's, my first time.
It was the first time, yeah.
It's your first
either
time,
one
too.
of us, so
Yeah.
neither one of us really know what to do.
You've been doing pretty good, too. Even though I know. Yeah, I know I'd be driving you crazy. But then you just drive right back to insanity. There you go. Good job.
I try. I try to keep it cool. It's not just that. I mean, this past week, I realized for definite that I'm ready to get out of my dead-end job. I mean, and it's really like not so much about as much as just the job. The job is fine, but things have changed for me. And so it's just not really as suitable now, you know what I mean, as it was before.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. You're about to have a family. When you got that job, you was a bachelor out here just living life.
Mm-hmm. And that job is really like, it's kind of like, it's manufacturing, so it's, it's high intensity, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it does. It works well for young bachelor type of guys, but there's a bunch of old guys working. And I'm not trying to be one of those old guys working there either.
Well, you got a long time before you get old, baby.
Yeah. So, I mean, right now I'm just at the beginning stages, you know. So what I realized is that I need additional training, you know. So I should begin to seek out additional training, you know, learn a new skill. I mean, that's one of the best ways to draw a better income is to learn a better skill.
Yeah.
You know, to draw a better income. So
Agreed. I mean, that's the best investment you can make is investing in yourself because that's an investment that you'll always have.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
I was literally just thinking about that with my own career. Like, if I want to be paid more and work a little bit less because of the baby, I need to get some type of certification so that way I can prove, like, okay, this shows that I have this expertise in this many areas. So that way people don't always feel like they need me to show them for X amount of months that this is the expertise that I have. I already have the certification to prove it.
Yeah. And I'm just like, man, I'm all these coworkers. I can't take it no more.
Yeah.
I mean, they, you know, but it's just like, oh my goodness. What is it with coworkers? Anybody out there, if you got coworkers, call in with your coworker stories. Send us an email to therealrightmedia@gmail.com.
Oh, you want to send them to that email?
Or we also could send to another email.
Yes, Curiosity Matters Podcast 5280@gmail.com.
Oh, the 5280. Okay. Curiosity Matters Podcast 5280@gmail.com.
Yes.
Any
yes,
crazy coworker stories? I would like to tell some crazy coworker stories, but I don't know if I could get in trouble. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check with legal. And
as long as you keep it anonymous,
we'll try to see about a crazy coworker story.
Yeah, I got a couple. I told you yesterday they was trying me, and then I had a meeting today, and I had the guy who was trying me, who basically tried to say that I wasn't doing my job, and he wanted to meet with the CEO about it, and then wanted to have me in the meeting. Like, I agreed that I wasn't doing my job. He gonna apologize 4 or 5 times in the meeting, talking about, I'm so sorry, I didn't want it to sound like I was saying that you weren't. And I'm like, yeah. whatever. You thought you was finna play in my face, and I had to let you know that you're not. Sometimes I feel like that's partly because I'm pregnant, because non-pregnant me would have been much more understanding.
Right.
But still, no, you're not about to play in my face. I don't care how nice I come across.
Right. No. That's a no-no. Yeah. Definitely. Anybody out there with crazy coworker stories, that's what next episode I want to do some crazy coworker stories. Anybody that's got any stories, let us know. It's Curiosity Matters Podcast at 50 Curiosity Matters Podcast 5280 at gmail.com. Look forward to seeing the emails coming in. So coming up in our next segment, we will dive into the what would you call it? The feature presentation.
The feature presentation, yeah, the main discussion, the main event.
The financial picture. How the personal relationship with finances changes in time. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Curiosity Matters Podcast. Once again, I am Floyd Wesley, here with my partner, my significant other, my lovely assistant, Courtney.
Assistant.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta work your way up from assistant, production assistant to producer.
So I'm not
associate
a co-host.
Producer.
I'm not a co-host. I'm an assistant.
Assistant and co-host.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that. You hear this, baby? He calling us an assistant.
No. You can't bring the baby into this.
I bring the baby with me everywhere else.
Mm-hmm. No, the baby is not in it. But getting back on track, we were talking about the financial picture, which I think is really important actually when you talk about relationships. Very important for our relationship. And really, I think it's one of the foundational pieces of the relationship picture. And obviously, it's going to be better if it's a good picture,
Yeah, don't nobody want no ugly picture.
Yeah, especially, yeah. You don't want an ugly picture when you're talking about finances. So, I'm going to dive into that a little bit. And I want to look at, for one thing, how the financial picture has changed. And I'll just start off and talk about how it's changed for me over time. And really, it was even a few years ago when I was single, I felt that I had a really sound financial picture. And I was making decent money, saving my money. And I felt like it looked good. But what really made me think about it was when I got that bonus. I had got a bonus, and it was a good bonus. It was upwards of $9,000. So I realized that when I was single, when I was, I was still working at the same company, but what I would have did with the money, totally different mindset about what I would have did with the money. And even though I feel like I was still trying to be financially responsible at that time, I would have definitely been thinking more about what am I going to buy? Like, what type of stuff? I'm buying something. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm finna buy something. I don't know what. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm finna buy something. Several things, But, now, I mean, the only difference is that now I wasn't really necessarily thinking about it in terms of, well, I want to buy a item. You know, I'm looking at, man, I want to buy credit, want to buy an asset, something that's going to help to shore up the financial picture.
Yeah, I feel like that just shows that you were financially responsible throughout the whole time, but you have had an increase in financial literacy to have a better understanding of the whole financial picture, which is the same thing that happened for me.
Yeah, because, I mean, at first, I wasn't no good with money. What happened was, when I would get me some money, the first thing I had to do was buy all the things that I never had, that I never could afford to buy before. So I was always be right back broke again. Mm-hmm. Because I felt like I may not even get no more money. Mm-hmm. So if I had me some money, it was something that I had to do, something that I had to buy because I had to. Otherwise, it may not ever happen again.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I remember when I first started my professional career and I got my first bonus check. And I mean, it definitely was not even close to what your bonus was. But I was sitting here looking at it like, all right, so what shoes? I want some Timbs. I want some Uggs. What clothes am I about to buy? What brands am I about to invest in that I've always wanted, but we never could afford when I was a child? So it was like I was trying to fulfill those inner child needs because they were not fulfilled when I was a child.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what's trippy to me sometimes? I think about our relationship, and it's just the way that it all went. Because basically when we met, I mean, like I said, I was doing good. I was making decent money. I was making good money, especially at that time, you know. I mean, right now, I make more money wage-wise, but it almost stretches the same way as what I was then. You know what I'm saying? It's cold when you think about it.
That inflation ain't no joke.
But it happened so quick. And I mean, at first, I was flush with cash, and we started dating. I mean, there was lockdowns. And then I had more time on my hands. So now, you know, I was spending money. But at the same time, you know, the last time I sit here and I thought about it, and I sat here and I realized that also was an investment in a sorts as well. Mm-hmm. You know, because that was an investment in cultivating our relationship and our lifestyle and helping to establish a foundation for our relationship to grow on. And
I agree.
So, even though, you know, like, I mean, shit, it was like, I feel like I was just throwing money around like I just was a rapper or something like that. But it's like, you didn't seem to think it that way.
I mean, I did, but I didn't. Because, yes, you were spending a lot of money, but you were spending most of it on stuff you wanted. It wasn't like you were spending money on stuff I wanted. So I was like, I mean, yeah, you might be spending money, but to me, it seemed like that's what you had always been doing. Because when we started dating, I didn't see the difference between what you were doing before lockdowns and after. We started dating right before lockdowns started. So it's not like I was able to see, okay, no, he used to be more responsible and not spending money on these things. All I saw was every month he was getting 2-3 pairs of shoes. We was going to the mall. You was getting this and getting that. And I was like, well, shoot, all right. I guess he got it like that.
Yeah, but see what you see, and that's what but you just said it. You didn't realize that what I had to do to position myself to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, there did come a point in time. I mean, shoot, after a while. But see, wait. I gotta go back before I allow that to slide. You almost got me.
What you mean? I almost got you.
What about all the things that we went to the New Mexico, We did things that you wanted to do too.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I didn't say that you never spent money on me. I'm saying that the majority of the time that I seen you spending money, it was on things that you wanted. And so, yes, you did also spend money on us as a couple, but it didn't never occur to me that that's not the way that you were used to living your life.
Oh, okay. So you thought it was just I had it like that my whole life.
Not your whole life, but I mean, shoot. Sound like you said, you was making good money, and I was like, well, shoot, I know he make more money than me. I barely be making the stuff happen over here with these bills.
You see? Keek the Sneak said, a saucy one will make 100,000 look like 1,000,000. But, so yeah, I mean, yeah, I was making decent money at that time, making good money, but at the same time, a big part of it was that I was saving up a lot of money. And that was really the beginning of when I started learning how to manage money because, I mean, hell, up until that point, I had never really been making none. So there wasn't nothing to manage. I mean,
managing bills, not the money.
I have no money to manage.
I know that life.
So, I mean, when I actually had some money to manage, well, then it gave me an opportunity to actually start managing it.
But it is one thing that did stand out to me at the beginning of our relationship is when you helped me get a car, because no one had ever helped me in any type of financial way, substantially like that. Usually, I was the person that was overextending myself to help people. So when you talk about how the view of finances shifted when we started dating, that's one thing that shifted for me because it made me realize that if you're investing in me, in our relationship, in this significant way, then I have to change the way that I view finances as well. And I can't be so focused on my siblings or so focused on my family. Not to say that I'm not going to focus on them, but up until meeting you and getting into a relationship with you, I mean, it was me and them. That was it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that also was an investment as well. And that was a leap of faith, I mean, in a way. In our relationship, I mean, that took trust. Really going both ways, you know what I mean? Because you remember the interlock was obviously a part of that, you know what I mean? And then you had let your cousin drive the car with the interlock.
Hey, now, hold on now.
She got it violated.
No. We not going to blame her.
No. How not? She the one that was driving it, which when the thing got a violation.
No.
Okay, so now, wait, did I make something up? Did I miss something?
You just be this is why you don't like her. I see.
No.
It wasn't even that. I think it was me, honestly, because I didn't realize that if I didn't do the thing whenever it beeped, that it was going to cause a violation. I thought you would only get a violation if it was like a dirty blow or whatever. So sometimes when I would turn off the car, it would be beeping and I'd be like, well, the car's off. I'm leaving.
So you blamed your cousin.
I didn't blame her. I told you that she was driving it and I didn't know what happened. And then you told me that they said that it didn't, they didn't blow into the thing enough times and it was beeping. And then I started thinking and realizing, that might have happened to her one time, but I'm sure the other 2 times was me.
Well, now the truth is coming forward.
I told you this.
Yeah, today.
No, before today.
But aside from that, though, I mean,
She don't be listening to
you. Get that? No, I don't be listening. But I mean, about the financial picture, you see, this is kind of this is a formula that may work for anybody out there. It starts with what I call a fiscal fast, where really it's pretty much you don't spend any money, because the reason why is because first of all, you have to continue to always live under your income level, right? But at the same time, you know, you want to increase your buying, your purchasing power. So, I mean, yeah, you go on a fiscal fast, you can position yourself to be able to start to buy assets. And that's when you start talking about buying assets, is when you start talking about developing a financial matrix, which is really more than, it's a little bit more sophisticated than just, okay, you know, I'm paying my bills, putting some money in savings, and saving up for a vacation or whatever. You know, it's where it's a building. It's almost like it's designed to essentially become a self-perpetual motion machine, right? A self-sufficient perpetual motion machine, you know, is ultimately what the goal is.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out what type of assets that I want to invest in, but I mean, it's taken me a while to get enough disposable income to actually be able to invest anything. But you're right. If I had not started saving even when I didn't have that much money, I would not have built up the financial muscle to even be able to do that when I have more money to save. Because it really don't matter if you are unable to manage $30,000 well. It's not going to change when you get to $60,000 and you have twice as much money if you're mismanaging all the money regardless.
But I'm gonna show you one thing you can do. Is sometimes things are as simple as just looking up the definition. Like when you say, what type of assets do I want to purchase? Well, we can get a better sense of direction about that by just looking up the term. And, you know, for me, when I first saw it, it was actually kind of eye-opening, because there's obviously the typical things that you expect to be there. Home, real estate. Obviously, you've got luxury, you know, appreciative luxury goods like artwork and precious metals and things like that. But after that, then you've obviously got stocks, you know what I mean? And now there's the cryptocurrency. But after that, you know, your trademarks, that was the part that for me that I found interesting, is when it started to go into trademarks and
all that intellectual property.
Kind of like, yeah, intellectual property, which obviously is a different situation when you think about the attainability. But it definitely did cause a shift, a mindset shift, for me, just looking at, man, where am I trying to really convert my resources, or, you know, convert my energy over towards, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, it also takes some maturity, because I've learned a lot about investment throughout my entire life. It doesn't mean that when I was 23, 22, that I was actually taking advantage of the knowledge that I've had. I was doing just like we said earlier. I was buying what I wanted, buying everything that was honestly a liability. It depreciated. All of the value of the things that I bought decreased. None of it increased. So to me, it takes both knowledge and the maturity and the desire to apply the knowledge, because you can know all there is to know about investment and assets and how you should spend your money. But if you don't actually have the maturity to follow the knowledge that you have or to apply it, it's no use.
Yeah, and you're right. It does start with basic principles, like when we had got this place in that fire. That was, anytime that things like that happen, that's expensive for anybody. Mm-hmm. And so that immediately put me in fiscal fast mode. That's the first thing that I automatically go to. Like, anytime that an expenditure, that's it. It's like, okay, money, stop spending. Spending, stop. Because that's how, okay, if you know that you've got a couple thousand or you got some couple dollars put away, I'm thinking immediately about, okay, that's covered. But replenishing that is really the new focus, you know what I mean? Because you don't know what's gonna come back on the heels of that.
True.
You know what I mean? So that's how sometimes we get into a tailspin or a whirlwind. One thing happens, and sometimes life is like that. Things happen back to back. That kind of happened to us. We had the car wreck, or it wasn't necessarily a wreck, but we had hit the thing in the middle of the highway. Then the fire. Then there was an actual car wreck.
What did we hit in the middle of the highway? Oh yeah,
you remember?
Rock. Rock. Yeah. Man, there's so many things have happened in the past year.
And you remember, that was expensive too, because we had to tow that vehicle. It was like $1,000.
Yeah, it was super expensive. Freaking stranded in the middle of the mountains in the dark. Scary. But, yeah, we had the wreck, then we had the fire, then, boom, you pregnant. Then had the actual car wreck.
Yeah, so if you're going through these things and you imagine you still trying to maintain a lifestyle of spending, $600 or $1,200 a month, you know what I mean, on clothing and apparel, you're gonna find yourself into some problems.
Yeah, you gotta be honestly, you gotta be more focused on the big picture than short-term satisfaction, because during those times it would feel great to go shopping and just do a little bit of what they call retail therapy, but that's honestly not what you need. It's what you want because it's what will feel good at the time.
Yeah, not for me. Like,
that's what will feel good for me.
Do.
But
if I feel like something bad happened and it's gonna cost, that's the last thing that'll make me feel good. Is gonna spend a bunch of money. That'll just make me feel horrible. I'll just be like, why did I do that?
Well, see, short term I would feel good, and then later, once I spent the money and see my bank account, I ain't gonna feel good after that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's. Yeah, man, that's the fiscal fast for me is like, that's it. That's the big key of it right there. Mm-hmm. It's just cut the spending off, and that's your best way to get back into the groove and back on top, and utilize the kind of collectivize the spending power, and then utilize the spending power, leverage the spending power rather than spending. That's the goal. That's the key, rather than spending. We all got to pay bills. Paying bills is a part of the game. So there's no way around that,
Okay, so I got a question for you. How would you, if there are any young listeners, in their young early 20s, what advice would you give them for starting on this journey for better financial literacy?
Well, in terms of financial literacy, see, a part of it comes with experience. So if a person wants to improve their financial literacy, there's a lot of different things that you can do, but ultimately you're gonna have to start trying to get creative about making some kind of income. that's the best way, because once you do that, it doesn't matter what you do. If you go and open up a lawn service or shoveling snow, even you start shoveling snow, eventually you're gonna run into real practical business problems that real businesses deal with. And if you start trying to think about how to expand that business, then you'll start to develop the mindset. You'll start to develop the ideas kind of as you go. And then you want to keep studying, you want to keep looking, and but these days, the thing is that these days you got the internet, so it's so easy to go on the internet and start looking at financial. You can go into Google and Google financial literacy.
I mean, yeah, but not everything on the internet should be taken like straight like that. So, like, were there any books that helped you come to this conclusion of how to start on your fiscal fast, or were there any discussions you had with any mentors or anything like that?
Yeah, there's been mentors. One of the authors, one of the earlier authors would be Napoleon Hill. A lot of people that are familiar with Napoleon Hill, he wrote the book called Think and Grow Rich. That's a big, I guess you could say, a staple in this personal development field, which is kind of a big genre these days. So then you've obviously got the Robert Kiyosaki, who made the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Mm-hmm. Then you've got one of my favorites was, of course, The Richest Man in Babylon, which is a older kind of, what would you call it, a folktale kind of a story, but it has a very powerful message in it. But yeah, anything that's along the lines of Napoleon Hill. You got John Maxwell out there. I haven't actually ever heard of any John Maxwell, but I believe that he was a student of Napoleon Hill. But I'm not vouching for John Maxwell, though. I never really went and listened to his stuff, but yeah, you're gonna run into on the journey. What does he say? On the road to redemption, you're gonna need a few spares. So, yeah, you're gonna run into scammers, schemes, get rich quick schemes. That's one of the main pitfalls of anybody that's actually trying to advance their self or their income, is a get rich quick scheme. I mean, almost everybody's probably gonna fall for at least one of those. A multi-level marketing or a pyramid scheme. It's no shame in it, really. What's important about it is learning the principles. You can learn a lot of things about business from a pyramid scheme just based on the way that they operate. You can learn a lot about human behavior based on the way that they operate, because that's what a lot of those programs are based on, is human behavior.
Yeah, they prey on the psychology of people, and they're not really giving much in return.
So we can do an advice line. Anybody, or we could do questions, comments, on a comment line. Anybody out there that's wants to send us a shout, you can email us at curiositymatterspodcast5280@gmail.com. And I really appreciate everybody out there for listening. Check us on Spotify, on YouTube, wherever you find your podcasts.
I don't know if we're on YouTube, but we are on Google and Apple and Stitcher and a couple of other places.
So check us out on any of those platforms, and we'll catch you for the next episode. Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Curiosity Matters podcast. This is our second episode.